Okay, in this video, I'm going to work with 1 point perspective, and I'm going to show you what it might look like if you were, let's say, standing in the middle of a street looking down the street. Um, so you've got one dot in the middle. This is 1 point perspective, and everything is going to be going to that point except for the vertical lines. The vertical lines, which are going to be the fronts and the sides of the building, are going to go vertical straight up and down. I've got the horizon line in there, but for the most part, you really wouldn't be able to see it. So I really didn't have to draw that horizontal line in there. But now I'm kind of drawing out the sides of the buildings. You see how quick it is for you to be able to show 1 point perspective. Basically, all I've got is a dot, some diagonal lines, and some vertical lines. Now, what I just drew was the top of a building. So now I'm going to draw the front of the building. See, it's going to the 1 point. Front of the building. The top of that side of that building, you're going to see is flat. So now I'm drawing the front of a building again. That wall that would be the front of the building is on an angle. Now that's showing the top of the side of the building. Now I'm drawing the front of a building again. That's the top of the building, and then that's the side of it. You see? Like you could actually go through the buildings and walk in through an alley or something. And I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side, always remembering that the lines that are in perspective, they all meet at that dot, whether they are above that horizon line or eye level line, or whether they're below them. All of those vertical lines are going straight up and down, the sides of the buildings and things. All of the perfectly horizontal lines, like the tops of the buildings, where it's going in towards the alley, those are all horizontal lines, like right there. So here we go again. That one. That's the one that makes it look like there's a side of that building where you can actually walk in between those buildings. All going from that point. So now we're going to put a sidewalk in there. The lines that break up each one of those pieces of concrete on the sidewalk, those are horizontal. The sidewalk itself is in perspective. But the lines that I'm drawing now that breaks up each pieces of concrete are horizontal. I don't have them perfectly horizontal because I'm drawing it fast, but they're supposed to be horizontal. Now I'm just kind of mimicking a car, putting a car in there on the street. So you can see that we got a street and there's vehicles going around, and I want to put some doors in the building. Same thing with the doors as with the building. In the windows, there are vertical lines, and then the tops and bottoms of those doors and windows are going to all be in perspective, and they're going to follow the line of those dots. See right there? So you just always remember to go back to that dot and see which lines need to be in perspective and which ones can be perfectly horizontal, which ones can be perfectly vertical. That's really all the lines there are. There are diagonal lines, and there's horizontal lines, and there's vertical lines in this 1 point and even in the 2 point perspective. You just have to become efficient at figuring out which lines are which, diagonal, horizontal, or vertical. And once you've done it a few times, as you see, I'm not even really going back to the dot anymore. You can kind of get an idea, and you're used to it, and you know how to do it. So a few trees back there, and without very much effort there, you've got a city street in 1 point perspective, and it looks like you can look up in there and go on down that street and walk down and walk into any of those buildings.